He had my back, and this is a great team. It's a great opportunity to go out there and play with this team and, come out with a victory. Obviously, you never want to see a guy like Patrick go down. Obviously, one of the best players in the league, but that's why I'm here, come in prepared. There's a lot of great players around me that made me feel confident and, just went in there and try to take what the defense gave me and make some plays while doing that.
Just as you thought, you'd be listening to a Michigan quarterback, a former Michigan Wolverine, come Monday morning talk about winning a playoff game. See, just as you thought. Chad Henne? That's right, boys and girls. Chad Henne off the bench in relief of Patrick Mahomes with the biggest one-yard little flip of his career and probably of the weekend. And the Kansas City Football Chiefs move on to the AFC Championship game, even with their concussed superstar in the locker room. What's up, and Merry Monday to you. It is if you're a Chiefs fan or a Buccaneers fan or a Packers fan or a Bills fan. 'Tis your opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. Micah's producing for you. Glad you're with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you. I know many of you have the day off, and we appreciate you getting up and spending part of the day with us. JJ, we're going to go through so much stuff between Lobo basketball and what we saw over the weekend. But just what you thought, right? You'd be listening to a former Michigan Wolverine quarterback talk about a big victory moving on to the championship game, right?
Getting to a conference championship game in a weekend that we figured would be dominated by the quarterbacks. It was the defenses that made the biggest impact across the board, because without that Kansas City defense, it's Chad Henne, some big throws in the fourth quarter. Kansas City is not in the AFC Championship game. And to me, that was the biggest takeaway from the second half of that football game, where if you're Cleveland, you're hurting, you're smarting. Not just that you lost to Kansas City. It's that the final 22 minutes of that game, KC played without Patrick Mahomes, and you could not take advantage of that moment. That Kansas City defense did step up. Of course, there's so many things to break down from the weekend, but one of the biggest is it's definitely a top 10 blows up sports Twitter moment, and that is the fumble through the end zone. It gets everyone going in a game-changing moment with Rashard Higgins early in that game, but then still you look at overall the second half, what Kansas City did defensively to give them a chance to win a game with Chad Henne. The same thing that happened on Saturday in the other AFC playoff game, defenses rose to the occasion. But yeah, if you're saying, Michigan quarterback going to a conference championship game, it's probably Tom Brady. No, it's two Michigan quarterbacks.
That's right, Chad Henne and Tom Brady. And Tommy, I want to get to that game, but to your point, the defenses were all the winning defenses were spectacular. Maybe none better than what the Bills did to the Ravens in a 17-3 win on Saturday. The Packers defense held Jared Goff and the Rams to 18 points in their 32-18 victory. Browns get beat 22-17 by the Chiefs, and they will be kicking themselves for a long, long time. And, of course, the Buccaneers 30-20 over the Saints. I'll bite, because I'm one of the few people who it does not bother me. In fact, I think it's right. When a ball is fumbled through the end zone, it's a touchback. Like for people who lose their mind. And I saw Derek Carr's tweet, you can't penalize effort. What should the play be called? He fumbled the ball, and it went out of bounds. Did you give it back to him where he fumbled the ball? Like that's rewarding fumbling the football. To me, it's the only way that play can be ruled. It is the rule, and I see no other potential way to rule that makes sense. If you fumble the ball through the end zone, you fumbled it out of bounds, and it was in the end zone as a touchback. Like, where else how else do people propose that be legislated?
The most common theme you see in that is return the ball to the 20-yard line. So instead of a touchback to the opposing team, the offense gets the ball back at the 20. It's a
first
rule.
Down?
I would assume it's a first down.
Well,
because
why?
Because neither team retain possession following a fumble.
Okay.
So, a situation like if you fumble anywhere else on the field and it goes out of bounds, you retain possession. I'm with you. It's a hard rule like it's a major penalty, but you fumbled the ball out of the end zone. You lost possession of said football. And while there's no clear recovery in it, there's not a great place to put it, because if you're fumbling forward, I don't think you should return it to the spot right in front of the goal line.
No.
But the only thing that makes sense, and a lot of people seem to be going to, well, this is the compromise, would be 20-yard line.
Right. I would listen to it at the 20-yard line, but keeping the down and line to gain the same. So if it was end goal, then it would be third end goal or fourth end goal at the 20. I'd listen to that. It would be penal, but less penal, obviously. And look, we get into how to legislate the game. I just said that's one of those where I'm not on that side. I know it blows Twitter up, and I saw it, and people lose their mind. You can't reward a guy for fumbling the ball into the end zone. He fumbled the ball. And I love his effort. And Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, said, he's never going to fault the effort, but they're coached to not do that. And I'm a big Rashard Higgins fan. I'm a fan of any guy who plays in the New Mexico Bowl and plays in this league, Mountain West Conference, typically. But that was one of those where he can't do that. And from what Kevin Stefanski said afterwards, he's coached to not do that, and he did it. And it was obviously very, very pricey for the Cleveland Browns. And look, I don't know that goes with the Ernest Biner fumble back in the day when John Elway led the Broncos down the field in those days. But it's going to go down in history, the Cleveland Browns. Brown fan, I feel for you. I mean, this was a chance now. This was a real chance. Like we'd be talking about the Browns have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. If they were going to Buffalo this week, you would say, damn, they've got a chance with that defense, the way they're playing. They can put points up. You would say they've got a chance. Now that they're eliminated, they have no chance. But that was one of those, JJ, there's moments in team history that I said you just don't get over. I remember, when the Seahawks lost the Super Bowl on the Malcolm Butler interception, where they didn't give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. They're sitting on the 1-yard line. They're going to beat Tommy, and they're going to win the Super Bowl. You never get over that. This is going to be a tough one for them to get over.
It is, but the Cleveland Browns are going to be a real problem next year. I love the direction that the franchise has gone in. I think we all have a much higher confidence level in Baker Mayfield. And if you look at what they did really the last month of the season, so many players in and out of the lineup, if they can get healthy overall, the injuries on top of the COVID issues that they had, I think they're a team that is primed to take that next step. And we saw what they're able to do this year despite everything else. I think they could have a Buffalo-like run next year, but yes, it's going to be one that it hurts. It stings. So many what-ifs from that game. Mahomes going out, not able to take advantage of it, fumbling at the goal line, but they're ready to explode in a big way next season.
Yeah, I think they're the best team in that division as of now going into next year. Meanwhile, it was a backup quarterback, a late second-round pick, 57th pick overall by Miami back in 2008 out of the University of Michigan, Chad Henne, who made maybe the biggest play of the weekend. And that was when Andy Reid called the 4th down and 1. First of all, the biggest play right before that, scrambling 17 3/4 of a yard or 2/3 of a yard to get them to 4th down and 1. If he doesn't make that play prior, they're kicking the football. And they're giving it back to Baker Mayfield, and I don't know what happens. Maybe that Kansas City defense holds up. I don't think it's a guarantee that Baker Mayfield is going down the field and winning that game, but it's certainly a possibility. We will never know because Chad Henne got loose. Chad Henne, who, of course, you thought it was going to be Chad Henne, and you knew it was going to be Chad Henne running with his feet, scrambling for 17 2/3 yards, and then the guts of Andy Reid and the confidence, and the story was consistent, so it must be true, that on Saturday night, Chad Henne and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the offensive coordinator got down, and if it comes down to a 4th and 1 to win a game, what play are we going to run? And they ran over a number of plays, and they were comfortable with that play. It was a beautiful design to drag Tyreek Hill underneath, an relatively easy NFL throw to get it to Tyreek Hill and to put the game away. I think there's so much that's impressive about that. That they had the confidence to go for it on 4th down with a backup quarterback. B, that they don't run the ball, and of course Andy Reid's got some sort of a design. And when you get the ball to Tyreek Hill, you're probably good things are going to happen. I think of everything that happened, that fourth down call and the third down play before that, to me, was as impressive as anything that happened all weekend.
Yeah, the third down play was, you said, it was the biggest thing. If they get 3 yards, 5 yards,
10 yards,
they're punting the football. And I think it's probably 5 yards or less. Then it starts creeping into Andy Reid's mind when it was at that point in time, inches, whether it's 3 yards or an inch, they're going for it regardless, which was the absolute right call in that situation because you're not in a field goal game. You're still 5-point lead, so ultimately Cleveland's going to have to score a touchdown, and you get a speed in space as you just laid out with Tyreek Hill. Most anybody is going to make that throw, and it was very well done. But that run by Chad Henne says it all, man. Just taking off, was 3rd and 14, diving towards the first down, getting all the effort needed, and no hesitation. And the fact that they were all on the same page in regards to knowing, hey, our backup quarterback can run this play as well. At least having that in your back pocket, being able to have that in discussion where you're able to go over worst case scenario. Hey, if we're in a 4th down situation with Chad Henne, what's he good with as well? Because Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to make all these plays. But what if we need Chad to get one of these? What one do you like? Simple pass to Tyreek Hill, catches it, gets down and bounce, game over.
The execution, too, was so impressive. Tony Romo's not juked very often. Tony Romo was, they're not going to run a play. Just look at their body language. Oh, whoa, they're running a play, Jim. Oh, they got it, Jim. Like Tony lost his marbles, right? They juked Tony Romo on the whole play. The whole execution, running it down, the hard count, then relaxing, making it look like, okay, we're just trying to draw you off, and then going late in the play clock and executing an absolutely perfect play. Like people say, what does well coached mean? Well, why is Andy Reid considered such a good coach? Why is that staff? I think everything encompassed right in that one little play, to your point. The preparation, the confidence in a backup quarterback, the execution, and the play call, all of it encompassed right there. I think it just shows you why he is considered what he is.
Absolutely, and it was, whether it's Chad Henne and Patrick Mahomes, we're talking 4th and inches, put the game away. You make that call every single time to make sure there's no doubt about it. Get that first down, you win the game.
I don't think there was any doubt about what to do, but I was just so impressed with how firmly they were in it with their backup quarterback. Honestly, Mahomes went down. You thought what? I thought they were going to get beat.
Yeah, you figured with that much time remaining in the game that there's no way they can just sit on it. Like they're going to have to somehow get a field goal, a touchdown, something out of this offense. And they held on.
Chad Henne. Yeah. All right. One of us picked all 4 winners, by the way, this weekend. One of us did. We're going to get through all of this. We're going to get through Lobo basketball, Lobo women's basketball. 2 teams have settled on head coaches. We got so much to do. 505-246-0610 is how to get to us today. 505-246-0610. Emails are already starting to hit my inbox. Jeff at 610knml.com. That's Jeff at 610knml.com. You can find JJ at, check this out, JJ at 610knml.com on the Twitter. Follow JJ. It's _JJ Buck. Facebook, the OD in the AM. When we come back, we'll get into the Buccaneers Saints. The geriatric game. Neither guy, Brady or Breeze, threw for over 200, but one was pretty good. The other, not so much. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
You've seen Rich Eisen on TV and heard him on the radio, but have you listened to the Rich Eisen Show podcast?
CC Sabathia, HBO's Under the Grapefruit Tree. The documentary is called...
Madrid plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says.
Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return.
Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it.
They're really
Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District mashup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win. And he got it! It's good. Oh my God! On the last second shot. He did. Oh my God! Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in. Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins.
standing in the winner's circle yesterday. Did you want to play something? Sorry, man. Go ahead and hit it.
Here it is, second down and goal from the one. Quarterback sneak, Tom Brady, did he get in? Yes. He's very close. Is it a touchdown, Mr. Ref? Is it a touchdown, Mr. Referee? Yes. Sean Hockley, touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Mr. Ref, is it a touchdown, Mr. Ref? Is it a touchdown, Mr. Ref? It kind of does, yeah. Ted, I got something the other day. Uncle Teddy will not be doing Padre games this year. He's now an ambassador for the Padres, so we'll still do stuff, whatever that means. It's like a Lifetime Achievement Award. Pretty good living for Uncle Teddy with San Diego. All right, so 30-20, Buccaneers beat the Saints. And right on cue, and I hate this because I do like Drew Brees. I think he's terrific. He's been terrific. His numbers are prolific. To me, Drew Brees isn't in the conversation of GOAT. He's not best ever, but he's terrific, and numbers-wise, he will be in that best ever conversation. But right on cue, threw that interception that put things away for the Saints in Tampa Bay. He threw another one that I think Jared Cook probably should have had. It hit him in the bicep. But two fourth quarter interceptions, 3 interceptions for Drew Brees. Neither Tommy nor Drew Brees broke 200 yards, 134 yards for Brees, 199 yards for Tommy. But Tommy looked efficient at times. All 3 Tampa Bay touchdowns came off of, as a direct result of turnovers, 30-20, and Tommy moves on. And winner. That's 4 winners for this guy. Picked all 4 of them over the weekend.
Good job. Now, when it comes to, I was the guy. You know what? Everyone's on Buffalo. Why not go with Baltimore? We'll get there. in a second. But the reason you laid it out, Tom Brady didn't have to have a wow game is because they capitalized on the turnovers. And it was, 2 of them were on Jared Cook, the fumble and then the football going through his hands. But when you look at the interceptions, there's also a reason for it because it's no surprise Drew Brees has lost his fastball. He's Greg Maddux right now. And he's the point guard in that offense where he can be efficient. But yesterday we saw that's the ceiling. Like, there's not much more left for Drew Brees to do. He was getting pressured in the pocket. He's throwing off his back foot a lot, and he can't do that anymore. When you throw off your back foot, you're throwing easy.
It's all arm.
Just footballs that are defenders are going to be able to jump the routes. They're going to make it tough on the wide receivers. And ultimately, there's a reason that New Orleans is good. And yes, Drew Brees is efficient, but how much have they won without him the last 2 years? And the fact that, they took him off the field, ran a trick play.
Who threw their touchdown pass,
Jameis Winston threw the touchdown pass. So it's a back to that good job, good effort, Drew, but you just don't have it. You're hitting that ceiling without the fastball. We saw him really struggle. Like, he didn't get hit a lot, but to your point, he was throwing off the back foot. He was really struggling to step up in the pocket. And I think the moment after the game really said it all. It's you have Drew Brees come into the realization of, I'm not going to be back here again. I don't know if I'm going to have this moment again. When he was on the field with Tom Brady, his family was there. They were talking, 2 GOATs of the era, just in terms of, as you pointed out, like, we're never really going to think of Drew Brees as that dude, but he's been right there close. And I'm sure as heck we talked about him as a top-tier quarterback in the league really over the last decade. It was just a moment in time where you realize the point guard is ready to move on.
Well, we're going to think of him as a GOAT. I think it's a good way to put it, a GOAT of the era. He is a I almost said Dan Marino, but Brees won one. I mean, I think getting that one is gigantic for his legacy. And I hear all the time, well, you got to have more than one. Aaron Rodgers has one, which I'll tell you what, if Mahomes wouldn't play next week, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get another one. That's a later conversation. Not anybody else has 6, right? So Roethlisberger's got 2. There's not a lot of guys who have multiple. It's really, really hard, especially in the era of Tom Brady. Eli Manning has 2. Peyton Manning has 2. I think, when you think of Brees in the same breadth as a Peyton Manning, when it's all done, because I think you're right. There's a little piece of me that thinks he may come back. And I look at it and I said, okay, they'll be fine if he comes back. To your point, I don't know if he's got enough to get him over the top in the playoffs. It's got to be the right game, the right matchup. And typically when you hit this time, there's defenses that are getting at you, and you're not that guy. So when you look back on him, is he tainted? Look, he would have been to 2 more Super Bowls if it wasn't for that dog bleep pass interference. And I'm all for it because it got the Rams in the Super Bowl. But he would have played Tommy in the Super Bowl if it wasn't for that horrible non-call in the Rams game. And then the Minnesota Miracle knocked him out the year before, where Diggs gets deep on that last second, what the hell just happened? That can't ever happen play. Now, is he culpable in the last few of them? JJ, last 3 years, he's thrown interceptions in the fourth quarter. That I'll go back to that Rams game. I mean, they should have won in regulation. They went to overtime. They won the coin flip. He got the ball. He threw an interception that led to the Rams field goal that put the Rams in the Super Bowl. So I think Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's terrific. I think he's all those things that the numbers say. He's going to be a shelf below the Bradys, the Montanas, the Unitises. I mean, whoever you put on that premier upper, and it's very, very few. I think he's on that next shelf. Dan Fouts. He's Dan Fouts. And I don't know if you remember Dan Fouts at all, right? You look at Dan Fouts now and you say, how could that guy have been that good? Dan Fouts was unbelievable as a quarterback. Never won a Super Bowl. Brees won once. Is he better than Phillip Rivers? Probably because he won one. But that's kind of where he is, and I'm with you on where he is right now.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking back at his career after a day like that, but ultimately in the moment, it's like he's stuck in 4th gear, and it's Father Time. Father Time's undefeated. He just doesn't have that extra oomph anymore to overcome his size, and he was so great at it, moving in the pocket, pushing the football downfield, but it's really the last 2 years, the amount of time that New Orleans takes their starting quarterback off the field, it worked. So you credit Sean Payton for finding a way to get by, whether it was when Drew Brees was out or mixing in Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston yesterday to the point to where that team has a shot. They were competitive. They're on the doorstep of getting to the NFC Championship game. But yes, Jared Cook has to own 2 of those. He had the fumble, he had the football go right through it. But some of the other ones, it's because it's not a fastball and it allows the defense to react. And there's a lot of close catches because it's scheme, right? I'm not going to fault Drew Brees for being effective in the scheme because they're really good at getting players in space. But it's also one you look at and say, Tampa Bay played well defensively, but how does Michael Thomas not have a catch in the football game?
Not one.
Like, how are you not getting him the football downfield involved in the offense? So it goes back to that Tampa Bay team responded as most of us thought they would. It was, you get to this point in the season, you can't look back what happened like 10 weeks ago and be like, oh, it's going to be the same game. It's an entire different world now.
That's why I picked Tampa Bay. I know New Orleans had beat them twice, but going back to why did I pick Tampa Bay to win this game? I just, first of all, there was a blowout that I looked at it, and I watched the trajectory. Like Michael Thomas being back, I thought he'd have a big game. He had 4 targets, no catches. They went to Traquan Smith and Jared Cook a lot. Cook's got to hold on to the football. Turnovers win games. Turnovers really lose games in the playoffs. They lose them. I mean, almost invariably, if you look down playoff games, not 100%, but I'm not Elias, whoever the hell Elias is, but I'm going to guess in the 90s, the team that wins the turnover battle in the playoffs wins games, right? High 80%, low 90%. And you looked at what happened. Look at the Chiefs game. You look at the Higgins fumble. You look at the Buccaneers game yesterday. The Saints turned it over 4 times, right? The interception and the 3 interceptions and then the fumble. Lamar Jackson turned the ball over. It's just how that thing goes. But I just, the reason I like the Buccaneers, I thought their defense was playing better. They ran the football well. I thought Fournette was really good and Ronald Jones. They have 63 and 62 yards each. And then Tommy was steady. Tommy did what Tommy needed to do, leaned on that defense. If that would have been a Super Bowl, you'd have told me it would be an Elway-like win, right? I mean, the defense won. Tommy didn't do that much. Tommy scored the touchdown. And I don't know, man. I do think they get beat next week in Green Bay. I do. I think Green Bay is better than them. I think the cold, although Tommy's played in plenty of cold games, I do like Green Bay next week. And I told you I thought Aaron Rodgers is on a scorched earth tour, and we'll get there. But that's why I went with them yesterday.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I thought Tampa Bay was the better team in this situation coming in. It still was really close because the Saints defense is legit and they are for real. And they had a tough game to try to overcome all those turnovers from the Saints offense. I think Green Bay is the best team in the NFC. I think they've been the best team in the NFC. Ultimately, after watching the playoffs and it play out, I believe this is the best matchup we could have. I think
I totally agree.
Tampa Bay is the most balanced team on both sides of football to try to attack Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I thought the Rams, that effort defensively was very good because I didn't think they were going to score more than 10 points in that contest. And to at least somehow, some way be in a 25-18 game and ultimately Alan Lazard taking the top off, putting an exclamation point on the game. It shows, I think, Tampa Bay can keep it close because I'm right. We're going to hear a lot about what happened the first matchup, and that's out the window.
It doesn't
matter. Tampa Bay just destroyed them down in Tampa. Now you're going to Lambeau. It's going to be freezing. To your point, Tom Brady is going to be fine, but how is everyone else going to feel on that field?
Yeah, that game meant nothing, and it meant no more than being swept by New Orleans meant yesterday, and it was bupkis. Real quick before we go to break. If Mahomes is out, and I honestly, JJ, as Jim Nantz said yesterday, if that's not a concussion, I don't know what is. As he wobbled, I mean, did you see his knees buckle as he tried to get up? If he's out, you've got to like Buffalo next week, don't you?
Buffalo, I think even if Mahomes plays, Buffalo goes in there and rips the AFC from Kansas City because there's no way Mahomes is going to be 100% next weekend.
Yeah. And he's got that foot injury too, right? His big toe, which we heard earlier, which he went into the tent, you saw him limping around on. But I just, I don't know. Look, NFL protocols are different, and they're world-class athletes, and they're going to want them to play. But how do you put that guy back on the field next week? And then there's the other piece where how do you not? Right?
Comes down to the doctors.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. Emails jeff@610knml.com. We are on the ProView Networks today. You can watch the show at ProViewNetworks.com and on our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. We'll get into Saturday's games when we get back. Bills Mafia 17-3 over the Ravens. What does that say about Lamar? Does it say more about the Ravens or the Bills? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide coaches award program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, and up the middle's got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portel.
The outside, running an out route. Davison on the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown. So Davison back to toss, and he's got all day. It's one miss, and he's rolling, he's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
We told you he
touchdown.
Could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the win at his back, but
creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
shot here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a
around the screen against White. Step back, it's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by
Hill off the right shoulder. The snap. Lamar Jackson back to throw. Guns it into the end zone. Intercepted. 2 yards deep in the end zone. Intercepted by Taron Johnson. And he brings it out. And he's still on the run. He may go all the way. He's at the Baltimore 40. The 30 gets a block at the 20. 10, 5. Touchdown! Touchdown! Taron Johnson goes 102 yards with an end zone interception. Touchdown, Buffalo!
Officially, 101 yards. Tied the all-time postseason record. Officially. Boy, was that a big play. Taron Jackson intercepted Lamar Jackson in the end zone. Those plays, man, those will turn seasons. Those will turn seasons, right? Rashard Higgins going in for a touchdown, fumbles through the end zone, and it goes the other way. Lamar Jackson going in for a touchdown. Taron Jackson stepped in front of it, or Johnson steps in front of it and goes 101 yards the other way. That was courtesy Bills radio as the Bills beat the Ravens 17-3. But, JJ, those are the kind of plays that don't just turn games, they turn seasons. And you're going in, when you have a 14-point swing in a playoff game, what was the difference in that game? 17-3, 17 minus 3, 14 points. And that's what happened right there. That was a 14-point swing. You think that was big?
It was the entire game because Baltimore played with Buffalo. And you take that away, it's a one-possession game. Maybe if Justin Tucker lives up to the dude we think is the best kicker in the league, it's a field-goal game at that point in time. And that's how close, how tight that game was. It looks much worse from Lamar Jackson. That was the worst play of the game from Lamar, and it was, to your point, the swing moment in said contest because they should have been still in a one-possession game if Justin Tucker hits some field goals. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, all we're going to remember from that weekend is Lamar throwing an interception and Lamar Jackson can't take the next step.
Justin Tucker has been the best kicker in the NFL for a decade. He hit 2 posts, one left, one right. Now, those were 6 points instead of 14. It wasn't the difference in the game, but it was a difference in the game. And if you want to put it on the kicker, I imagine you can. But that kicker's been pretty damn good. Been damn good in pressure throughout his career, too. He hit 2 posts. He did. He did. All right, let's go to the phones. 505-246-0610. Bruin James. Good morning, James. How you living?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Good morning.
Hey, I gotta stand on my soapbox here for a little bit, man. The offense coordinator for the Cleveland Browns should be fired. He should be sent to Cleveland, on fire, the town of Cleveland. This guy, whoever, you cannot run. Okay, you got the world champions on their heels. You keep trying to run a stretch play. Don't run right up the middle. And at the end, what was Baker Mayfield doing? He was standing in the pocket, throwing for the pocket. Get him out, move him. You know, make that defense work. Get him out of the pocket. And man, Tracy Wilson. I think that they're gonna give Patrick Mahomes a once over because they want to know if he's got a concussion. Dumb! He's got a concussion. I'm not even a doctor, and I know that. Gee, Merry Christmas. Thanks, guys. Hey, have a good one.
See ya. James, Dr. Bruin James. I don't know what Tracy Wilson saw. Remember when Dak snapped his leg and his ankle was pointing the other way? And Tony Romo said, let's just hope it's a pulled muscle, or hope it's, what was it? I hope it's just a sprain.
It's just a cramp.
I hope it's just a cramp. That's what it was. That was the name of a fantasy football team for a week. They went 0-2 and I changed the name back. Sometimes, what did you see? You know, sometimes maybe Tracy was scrambling and didn't get the information that you and I got staring at the 3 replays. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, just because I've been in live situations like that where sometimes you don't have the benefit. You're scrambling to get over and get in place and see what's going on, and nobody relayed that to you. As far as the play calling for Cleveland, Baker's last pass was 2 of them, right? He threw that swing pass in the flat to Chubb that went nowhere, and then it was 3rd and long, and it got deflected. I don't know if I felt they needed to move the pocket as much. I thought Baker was he 23 for 37 for 204. It's hard for me to just completely lay that all about play calling. Are you with him?
Not completely on the play calling, as a stated. To me, the difference in that second half is Kansas City's defense. And I think that the frustrating thing is you immediately assume Patrick Mahomes is off the field, so you got to go win that game. Well, guess what? Kansas City realized, our defense is going to have to win this game now. And that was the ultimate battle. So, yeah, you can pick apart some of the play calling in the second half when the game came down to Baker Mayfield versus the Kansas City defense. And the opportunities were there. Chad Henne did turn the football over, gave Cleveland a chance in that second half, but they could not move the football downfield. And that's why I think they're close. Like, they're ready to take that next step next year, because they got the running back duo in check. I'm not sure the contract status of Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are going to get it done. With Baker Mayfield was effective throwing to everyone not named Odell Beckham Jr. this season, so you got to believe that passing offense and just can only solidify itself and get better moving forward. But yeah, in the moment, it feels like such a huge missed opportunity for Cleveland. We're talking the final 22 minutes of this game. The ultimate eraser is off the field in Patrick Mahomes, and you were stuck.
So this tends to be a progression for teams in the NFL, even the NBA for that matter, teams that don't have LeBron James on it, where you take steps. Very rarely do teams jump to the Super Bowl, jump to the championship game. The Bills, last year they went out in yesterday's round, right, in the divisional round. This year they're one step further. I think the Rams did it on their way to the Super Bowl. It's very rare your first time in the playoffs in pick your amount of time, but with a new era, meaning a new coach, new quarterback, do you jump straight to the Super Bowl, right? I mean, even Patrick Mahomes, it took him one time through, and I think I agree with you on the Browns. I told TJ coming in he didn't want to hear it because last year there was all the hype on the Browns, and I said the Browns are pretty good. He said, I don't want to. Really? Nah, I'm not going to buy into it. Really, you think they are? That whole thing. It's been a long time for the Browns, and I last year they ate a lot of humble pie and they weren't well coached. I don't remember who made the point yesterday. I was watching something, talked about the difference in what a coaching staff can do. I think what Kevin Stefanski has done, and that's why he'll be coach of the year for the Browns, has been stabilizing, has been so positive in everything that coaching staff has done, and they took strides. They got into the playoffs. They won a game this year. It's very rare that a team, again, as you're building. Now that doesn't mean you're going to get there. By the way, that doesn't. There's plenty of teams who have gotten to this point and fallen off the cliff. But this is kind of the progression we're watching with the Bills this year, and I agree with you on the Browns in the future.
I think they're ready, everything in place. I think Baker Mayfield won a lot of people over this year. In the moment, it's going to stink. Like, that's going to weigh on your mind. Rashard Higgins' play is going to be up there. It's not. I don't think it's as impactful as, say, the drive or anything the Broncos might have done in the past, but it's going to be up there because they haven't been there in so long. They haven't been in this position. So it's for the younger fans, like the new generation of Brown fans, now this game starts to go up there in lore of a moment missed when you look back at diving for the pylon. And by the way, helmet to helmet, some people are pointing that out as well.
I want to get into that. Let's talk about that when we come back, because I'm struggling with that, although probably to the letter of the rule it was. 505-246-0610. Get in on what was a really good football weekend. We'll get into that boring game, that Rams and Packers game, which was the easiest game to pick of the weekend. When we get back at 505-246-0610, we'll also get into Lobo women's win yesterday, 81-73 at UNLV. Lobo men, another 20-something point loss on Saturday to UNLV. We'll get there as well. Gentlemen, I hope the new year's off to a great start. How you feeling? I hope you're feeling fantastic, but if you're not, if you're feeling sluggish, dealing with fatigue, low energy, low T, erectile dysfunction, you can take care of it. Call New Mail. You can feel like you again. New Mail is the leader in men's health. They are here in Albuquerque, and they've helped thousands of men all over the country feel better. What's more important than your health, especially in these times? Taking care of you and feeling well is a priority, and New Mail makes it possible. Call them at 505-652-1688 or visit newmail.com. That's NUMALE.com. The whole process is comfortable. The results are absolutely real, from the phone call to your first visit all the way through the treatment. New Mail will be with you, and they will help you take care of low energy, even hair loss or erectile dysfunction. Their testosterone replacement utilizes cutting-edge technology. They are out front of this when it comes to men's health. Call them at 505-652-1688. Guys, take care of yourself. Make the call. Visit newmail.com or visit 505-652-1688 and feel better.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
in. 19 seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake, double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up off the middle, got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown, Portel.
The outside of running an out route.
Davis in the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown.
Back to toss, and he's got all day. It's one miss, and he's rolling.
He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
We told you he
Touchdown.
could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the win at his back, but
creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos.
Watson down the
The Packers with a dagger.
Packers radio 32-18, Green Bay over L.A. There is only one L.A. team. Rams are out. This one was, of every game, I think the most predictable. The Rams offense was struggling. Jared Goff is unpredictable. He had a broken thumb. I don't think that's why they lost. I just think the Packers were better. I thought the Rams defense was not great. Obviously, giving up 32 points, 296 yards to Aaron Rodgers, 2 touchdowns. He does not turn the ball over. Rams didn't turn the ball over. They couldn't move the ball. Cam Akers ran for 90 yards, and it'll be Green Bay hosting the NFC Championship game.
In salute to our fallen heroes.
Is this because you don't get to hear it again until next Lord knows when?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Assuming there's home games and fans next year, I am planning to go and see the Rams and Buccaneers at SoFi next year. Our good friend Craig Snow, former Highlands coach, former Lobo assistant coach, is a Buccaneers fan. He's already said, all right, we got to go Rams Buccaneers at SoFi next year when the schedule comes out. So I'll wear my Craig is going to wear his Eric Dickerson jersey. I'll wear my Jack Youngblood jersey. Old dudes in retro jerseys. How's that? Come on, give me Big Bad Jackie one more time. I mean, just one.
Jackie, and I'm starting this off. The Rams get down, so nobody scoff. And don't you worry, cause the Rams are rapping. When game time comes, we'll be back to zapping. We can't sing, and our dance is not pretty, but we'll do our best for the team
That's
and the
right.
city. So get on your feet and clap your hands. Let's ram it right now with the LA Rams.
Hollywood handsome, Dodge City tough. The Detroit highway is gonna get rough. I like to ram.
All right.
You can see nobody likes ramming any more than me.
Good thing JJ had a pee or whatever he had to do or change a diaper. He didn't have to put up with that crap. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. That's how you can get to us today. Good Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you. Hopefully you have the day off, and if you do, appreciate you getting up early with us and going through a weekend. That was crazy. If you had a dog in the fight, you're stoked or you're bummed, and if you didn't, I think you were entertained. For the most part, aside from the Rams game, which was decided fairly early, 32-18. And I've heard people tell me the Bills game was boring. Did you think the Bills-Ravens I know there wasn't a lot of scoring. Did you think it was boring? There wasn't much more scoring in the Chiefs-Browns game, which was 22-17, but that was anything but boring. Do you think that was boring? Because I didn't.
Nothing about this weekend was boring. It was great football all the way around.
Well, the Lobo game was kind of tough to stomach. Yeah, that would. I don't know if it was boring, but yeah, I split screened that. I honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I recorded, but I forgot that was on. Like at some point, I looked at the Twitter and I said, "Oh yeah, there's that," and then I ran over and I split the screen and it was gruesome. Dude, you just missed a final ram it. Micah gave us a ram it. We ran all the way through Big Bad Jackie and Rock the City, and that's all we're going to get for the rest of Lord knows when. Yeah, I'm glad you had a pee or whatever it was because
it's ceremonial ram it because it's definitely a good job, a good effort. As frustrated as you might be with their performance, I felt LA did much better than I thought they would in that situation, to be in a one-possession game late, to give themselves a chance with all the question marks. Yeah, once again, highlights just how good they were defensively. And then maybe I don't even think with a great thumb at this point in time, Jared Goff is necessarily beating Aaron Rodgers.
2 minutes.
But you're in a pretty good place.
Well, I wonder what you do because you're borderline purgatory. You're better off than Philadelphia is. You got a quarterback who performs at times, but you paid so much money, so you're stuck. I thought Cooper Kupp not being there was a big deal. I just because he's such a good weapon for them, such a steady receiver, such a go-to guy. So I thought that was a big deal. But they gave him 32 points, and as good as your defense is, 32 points was the biggest number of the weekend, and probably in playoff games, more often than not, if you give up 32 points, you're going to lose a football game. And it wasn't because of turnovers they gave up 32 points. It was because of Aaron Rodgers, right? It's not that now they didn't move the ball, but it's not like they turned the ball over. Goff took care of the ball. He didn't turn it over. So somebody who was it? Oh, a buddy of mine, actually, who advertised on this radio station, was in Kansas City for the Chiefs game, and actually sent me a picture with our buddy Ron Simon. He caught up with Ron Simon in an establishment in Kansas City, And Ron asked, what happened to your Rams and Aztecs? And I'm like, well, Aztecs were playing without their best player, and we'll get there because that showed. And I just said the Rams just aren't as good as the Packers. I mean, this is one where I don't feel like Browns fan feels. Browns fans got to be just disgusted because you had your chance. Like, as a Ram fan, we're just not as good as that team. I don't feel like anything got away. We beat Seattle. We probably were where we should be, right? If you're a Rams fan, that's how you have to feel.
Yeah, you had a chance in the second half in Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers. That's a great position to be in, knowing that this offense is never going to be like that. What was it, 2-3 years ago now?
3 years
where
ago.
Felt like they could score 50 points. It was just like everything, like the stars aligned for them that year. And Goff is
Well, Gurley was
good.
terrific.
Yeah, Gurley had like a career season as well. I think Cam Akers was a big help down the stretch this year for that offense, bringing some balance to it. But yeah, Cooper Kupp not being there limits you. I thought Reynolds and stepped up. Jefferson, it was Van Jefferson, excuse me.
Van Jefferson. And Aaron Donald wasn't 100% on the defensive side. I mean, it was obvious. And
so everything you needed to have even more of a chance just wasn't quite at 100%. Aaron Rodgers is going to get.
Yeah, if I'm a Browns fan, I'm disgusted because one got away. As a Ram fan, I think you got to look at it and say, all right, I mean, that team, the Packers, are better than the Rams. They just are. So how do you get better? And I'm not sure I know the answer to that. Goff has to get better. I mean, honestly, I watched Josh Allen make tremendous strides from year 1 to year 2 and now to year 3. Jared Goff's got to make strides like that, or the Rams, I don't believe, are going to get back to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. 505-246-0610. We get through the NFL. Got to talk global basketball as well. Glad you're with us this morning. Thanks for getting up on a holiday. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Oh, yeah, you missed a good ram.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. It's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay.
I got you.
Measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. It's into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. They're looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
They'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up, man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Jimmy Gaye.
a play. Henney rolling out, throws it. Hill! And the Chiefs are heading to the AFC Championship game. Only Andy Reid gets him shotgun on 4th and an inch. And throws the ball with his backup quarterback. There's no way. He shocked everybody. I mean, that is impossible. I've never seen it.
Hanson Romo on CBS. Romo screaming like a fanboy. Screaming like a fanboy, JJ. Like he's never seen it before. They faked out Tony Romo. And Romo sees all. Romo is the walking, talking crystal ball. He knows everything before it happens. And he didn't know that yesterday. That was pretty good. That was a big moment as Chad Henne hits Tyreek Hill to close that out. There is a play. There is a play, Jim. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Jay, Pole, and Josh on the ProView side. Was that the second biggest play? Was that the biggest play? That play doesn't happen if the play before it doesn't happen. So I think it's the second biggest play of that game. The pick six in the Bills game has got to be up there for biggest play of the weekend. I don't know which play you think is the biggest play of the weekend. I'm going to tell you the Henne run is the biggest play of the weekend to me. The pick six is number 2, and then that fourth down would be number 3.
I'm on board with that. I agree. I don't think the 4th down play was as big as the 3rd down play because you don't get there without the 3rd down play. Yeah. And then the interception to seal the game. Because it's still, at that point in time, it was a one-possession game. That Baltimore-Buffalo was a defensive struggle. And a team that has to be feeling really upset is Baltimore because they outplayed them across the board. But it goes back to that one interception, and that's it. And that's all you need in a situation like that because Buffalo was doing enough to ultimately hold them to those field goal attempts, long field goal attempts, windy night, not ideal conditions, but got the job done.
All right, there is some news in the NFL this morning that is not score related. The Chargers of San Diego / Los Angeles and Carson that should go back to Los Angeles or La Jolla or Chula Vista have a new head coach. Brandon Staley, the Rams offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We're just talking about the Rams bowing out of the playoffs, but the architect of that defense is the new head coach, so he'll just kind of go down the hall. He gets to keep his kids in school and doesn't have to move, and because they're in L.A., not San Diego. So Brandon Staley, the new head coach of the Chargers, I think it's a good move. I'm down, I guess. You know, all these jobs are filling, and Eric Bieniemy's still coaching.
Mm-hmm. And this is one where you wondered, the Rams just say, you know, that guy in that corner offense looks like he knows what he's doing. Maybe we should ask him if he wants to come to the Chargers. Or like maybe that guy in that Rams corner office could come coach our team. He might look like what he's doing because you look at his track record, it's a progression. People obviously see something in this young coach. He was coaching Division III football like 4 or 5 years ago. So this is an amazing trajectory for him to now be a head coach in the NFL. And these are the tough things. Is he a good coach? Does he know what he's doing? I bet he does.
Yeah, probably.
But he was also coaching a good unit. And those are the challenging things is like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? A guy stepping in to what has been a good defense over the last few years. He maintained it. He coached them to a top level this season. These are the tough decisions, but ultimately one that he's on the fast track, and there you go, head coach in the NFL.
San Diego Superchargers. Yeah, that song, since we're doing team songs today. All right, San Diego / I know where they are now, but again, if you're just new to the show, they will always be the San Diego Chargers to me. I can't acknowledge them as the LA Chargers. They'll always be. Lions seem to have their guy. Dan Campbell, the assistant head coach in New Orleans, also coached the tight ends. Dan Campbell looks like he's going to be the head coach of the Lions. JJ, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know a ton here. It obviously has been with Sean Payton for a while in a successful operation in New Orleans. Lions have got their guy in Dan Campbell.
Former Detroit Lions tight end for a couple of seasons, so bringing back the alum. Campbell's a name that you've heard a lot over the last few years as a well-thought-of assistant coach in the league. You figured potentially he'll be one of those guys to get a shot. And it's when we're looking at these head coaching positions, it's always fascinating to see where they go. You got like an assistant coach, tight end coach, Dan Campbell, Sometimes you go for the flashy offensive assistant, as we've seen like this season. It's Arthur Smith. Everyone's waiting on Eric Bieniemy. Go with the defensive coordinator, but a lot of it too is just management. It's team management. Who you going to bring in to fill those assistant positions? Who's the next hot guy that maybe you can land on your staff to really hit it? Because when you're a head coach, you might have a certain specialty, but it's got to be about everything. You got to be able to manage the coaching staff. You got to be able to manage your roster, game day decisions. Are you going for it on fourth down? What is your clock management like? And so there's obviously not a perfect path to get there, but Campbell feels like a solid hire. Guy's kind of put in his time, knows a little bit of everything. And for Detroit now, it's Matt Stafford, the offense, who's going to work with him. We shall see.
So another, not this hire, the Chargers hire, Brandon Staley. Another, I can't believe Sean McVay's got a tree already. He's 33 years old, and his tree is sprouting more and more limbs and branches. But that's there. I agree with you on the Campbell hire. It feels right. Some of the better coaching hires are not the flashy ones, right? Stefanski wasn't flashy. It feels like a really good hire. Andy Reid was a flashy hire. That was
Ryan Flores.
Ryan Flores was a barely flashy hire, and I think he's a terrific coach. So it's interesting. We haven't seen one rehire, have we? Urban Meyer doesn't count to me as a rehire because he hasn't coached in the NFL. So there are 4 jobs filled, so that leaves 3 open. Is that correct? The Jets, the Jaguars, the Chargers, and the Lions have been filled. Am I missing one somewhere? So that leaves open Philadelphia. What else is still open? Philadelphia, Houston. Did Atlanta hire?
They offered. I think
that he did accept that. So that was filled. That was filled. Arthur Smith. So he did accept that. I did see that on Saturday. So is there only 2 jobs open? Philadelphia and Houston? The Eric Bieniemy thing's weird now. First of all, the minority hire thing has been a prerogative for in the NFL, or at least they say it's a priority. Now, Robert Saleh is Lebanese American. He's a Muslim. That's a minority hire. That's considered to work in there. But I think we all understand the intent here. It's a league filled with predominantly African-American athletes. And Eric Bieniemy is been out. I mean, as far as the assistants, the biggest name now, the further he goes, he can't get hired. If they go to the Super Bowl, the Chiefs, he can't get hired. Does a team want to wait that long? And this one feels weird to me because I was certain Eric Bieniemy would get a job.
The answer is yes. If he's good enough, it shouldn't matter.
So do you wait until February?
Or February 1st. You're not missing out on a recruiting class. You're not losing a bunch of recruits. Like, that's not a problem in the NFL. If he's good enough, you absolutely wait on him.
If he's your guy, yeah. If he's your guy.
Believe, you know what? We want to give him the opportunity. It shouldn't matter whether we will hire him January 1st or February 7th.
Well, I'm going to tell you, all these other guys are probably impressive too, right? That's how they're getting interviews. And if Eric Bieniemy blows your socks off, well, that guy's just head and shoulders above the rest. I think I agree with you. You say we wait, but I can see the process where, well, damn, that guy was really good too. Let's talk to him again. Yeah, he's really good, and we can hire him and move, be good and okay, and you make a hire, because that doesn't make Arthur Smith or Dan Campbell or Brandon Staley or anybody else less impressive. And probably what's the greatest ability, JJ? Availability, right? People tell you that. I agree with you. If he's your guy, he's your guy. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait. But these other guys, it's not like they're hiring a bunch of chumps. It's like when we have the conversation, is it LeBron or MJ? Well, if you pick one, it doesn't mean the other guy's not good, right? Well, Eric Bieniemy or Brandon Staley, well, they're both pretty good. And I wonder if there's some of that going on here. If he's getting victimized by their success.
Which doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. If he's
your guy, he's your guy.
Part of that success, would you not want someone? Yeah, he's working with the best quarterback in the league right now, but look at the concepts. Look at what he's putting together. Andy Reid, Chad Henne was in position to win a playoff game, and you gave him the opportunity to make the simple throws and reads at times in that contest. And so there has to be something else there that's keeping him on the okay but not great list when it comes to being able to withstand this. Because if I'm a franchise right now, would you like to have a head coach? Sure, but it's not the end of the world in the
Especially
NFL because they're not doing anything. You're not out there signing free agents. You're not doing workouts. Like, you can still probably put a really good staff together of people you know and want to hire, you know, even a month from now. Because if you're saying, hey, you're an assistant over here, well, let me make you an OC here. Okay,
Yes.
I'll come with you. That sounds great. So there has to be something holding them back that we just don't see and don't know. Because you're right. It's the first thing people jump on is, how is this guy still not given a chance to be a head coach?
So who do you give the credit to for Chad Henne? Because I think you're right in some respect that Eric Bieniemy who called the play? Who got Chad Henne ready? Yesterday, I was hearing all the love for Andy Reid, right? And the talk last night was Mahomes, Chad Henne, and Andy Reid got together the night before and went over plays. I didn't hear Eric Bieniemy in there. That doesn't mean he wasn't there. So it's interesting because you give a lot of the credit to Bieniemy, and I don't know that I think you're wrong. But who gets that credit? Is it Bieniemy? Is it Reid? Is it both? Like who do you give the credit to for having them prepared? Because in the first segment I was talking about, why are Andy Reid coach teams considered to be at this level, and we watched it yesterday. The confidence, first of all, the decisiveness in the call, the confidence in your backup quarterback to be ready, the preparedness from the night before to know what we're going to do, and then the execution. So we give a lot of credit to Andy Reid, and then you say Eric Bieniemy, and I don't know that you're wrong on this. I'm just curious, where do you give the credit?
I think ultimately you're going to lean towards Andy Reid as the main figure in all that. But if we're sitting here going, you know what, I think that Staley was a good hire. He was there for a year, like with a good defense. Whereas
Bump Phillips was there the year before, yeah.
And whereas Eric Bieniemy, he has the best quarterback, but he also has all that information. He knows what that kind of game plan is like. And if we're talking about coaching trees, Andy Reid seems like a pretty good one to build off of. And maybe it comes down to Houston circles back around, because that would feel like, all right, we want to maximize our best asset in Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson running some of those concepts feels like it could be pretty good. So maybe that's a way, when it's all said and done, that Houston is able to reestablish that relationship with Deshaun Watson, is potentially going after someone like Eric Bieniemy, who Watson has said publicly he'd like the opportunity, bring him in, let's have that conversation. But when it's all said and done, if he's still an assistant with Kansas City, not a bad place to be, but it leaves us questioning what's missing. Is it simply availability, or is there something that goes on where he's not the wow guy in all this, and he is more coattails than a part of the decision?
I think part of it is he's probably really good. So is Dan Campbell and Brandon Staley and Arthur Smith, and all these guys are getting jobs. They're all probably really good. And last week, maybe Bieniemy was my guy, but man, it's another week. He may go to the Super Bowl. I talked to this guy. He just wowed me, right? And I don't know. I'm wondering if that's part of the process. 505-246-0610. You can be part of the process this morning. Pick up the phone and call us at 505-246-0610. Emails come in this morning. Jeff at 610knml.com. JJ at 610knml.com. Watch the show on ProViewNetworks.com or on our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. Glad you're listening. On 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Your cravings for Taco Bell's nacho fries?
Looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavis. Chavis set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off, great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Shoot a shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good.
Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Cropper.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. Here comes Creatures. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition. It's 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan. Has that ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wraparound pass.
Harris. Legate. The long bomb. 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
Cajola, a little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back, alley-oop, put it down. Dunkalicious, how about it?
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the
first half defensively, allowed the fewest points, but the Browns are trying to defy that. As they hit at the 5 to Higgins, he lost the football as he reached for the pylon, and they ruin a touchback as he fumbled through the end zone.
Well, this is going to be, I mean, whatever happens right here, Stefanski livid. If this is a touchback, and it did look like it, Jim, this is devastating. What a throw, movement with the eyes by the quarterback. Let's see right here.
The ball definitely came out early.
Nance and Romo on CBS. That was a gigantic play. I know some of you don't like the rule, think it's a bad rule. What else you want to do? Put it at the 20? All right. That was key in the Browns game. So JJ, you said we haven't got into this. There's the helmet-to-helmet piece to that. So I looked at that play a bunch of times. My first thought was, well, if his arms are out and he's going to make a tackle, the head's got to go somewhere. What do you want? He actually didn't. His arms were tucked, so he did kind of lead. The helmet hit. Like if you're throwing yourself trying to throw a shoulder, well, the head's going to be in front of the shoulders, right? The head's got to hit something first. The head hit the shoulder and then the helmet. It could have been helmet to helmet, I imagine. I know a lot of people are screaming at that. That's a tough bang I mean, that referee who was right there had to make so many decisions in one fell swoop. He got the call right on the fumble through the end zone, which was, by the way, I mean, inches, and he got it right. Was it helmet to helmet? As much as people don't like that fumble through the end zone touchback thing, I struggle with the helmet to helmet a lot because where do you want the head to go?
About leading with the helmet.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to lead with the helmet. And that was 100% a helmet first tackle, not putting your shoulder into someone. It was helmet. And in the moment, you don't see that. You see it after the fact.
Yeah.
So I'm right there with you. It's so hard to sit there and look at the referee and say, well, how did you miss that? It's because he was sitting there looking at the fumble, calling that, the touchback, and then, oh, by the way, did he happen to lead with the helmet? And it's in that situation, that's not the first thing on your mind. You see two dudes diving for the pylon, trying to make a play, and it's not as evident as others we see, say a wide receiver going across the middle of the field or something like that.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Should that be reviewable? I mean, it's reviewable if they make a call in college on targeting, but should that be reviewable? Because I don't think it should, by the way. Let me just tell you, I think you're opening up a can of worms, and I heard a lot of people screaming that, that's got to be reviewable. To me, that's like that rule that went 1 year last year to review pass interference or non-pass interference and going back. I mean, you're asking for a flag or a review flag on every call because you can make a case on, I mean, Lord knows how many hits in the National Football League did the man lead with his helmet? Did he hit first with his helmet? Was contact first with the helmet? Like, if they miss the call, they miss the call. And by the way, that's part of the game, and there's missed calls. Because the key component to that play was he fumbled it through the end zone. I don't think it should be reviewable. I heard a lot of calls for it the other day, but I mean, for crying out loud, then everything's reviewable. Are you differing on that?
I'm listening on called, like to review if a penalty is called, like of that magnitude, then have it.
So if that
be
was called helmet to helmet,
I think I'd be okay with that. Like if it's something where they call it that, like it's called on the field, and they're like, well, maybe not so fast. But
so
to the point where it's like everything, because still with the pass interference, you had to use your challenge, right? Even though it was a year ago. So it's because you still only get those two moments.
Yeah, I don't need it. I just don't need it. We're getting to a point where, I mean, everything's reviewable, and well, you want to get it right, and I'm on that boat where you want to get it right. But all right, let's go to phones. 505-246-0610. Lenny, good Monday morning. How you living?
Good morning. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Well, wasn't that play inside less than 2 minutes, less than a half? With the helmet hit?
Even if it was, that's not reviewable.
No, what I'm not saying is then I think they should make that with inside 2 minutes and a half a reviewable play.
But so can you?
If it has to do with the touchdown.
But it didn't because it wasn't a touchdown. And so what you're saying is you should be able to review something within 2 minutes, but not review it with outside of 2 minutes.
Just like they do in other sports or some other sports where it's just within the final 2 minutes, it's a reviewable call. Because that was a helmet. Yes, he's leading, and the helmet has to go somewhere, but his helmet led right into the other helmet.
Yeah, I disagree, but okay. All right, I'm down with it. All right.
Edward on the line.
So I mean, I understand. Yeah, you can't review everything, and the refs are not perfect. But then if they're not perfect, that's why you have the replay center.
Okay.
To catch those mistakes. And I don't have a skin in the game with either one of those teams, but I just felt that he would have caught the ball outside the helmet hit, and if they would have reviewed it and called it, it would have been down at the 1 yard line or goal line.
Well, what about the fumble? Cleveland. The fumble wouldn't have mattered then?
No, because the helmet happened before the fumble.
All right.
Which of the two happens first?
No, you're right. The helmet, the hit happened first.
Okay, and then now with Drew Brees, it's too bad that he didn't get to go out with fans in the stadium or very little, but it's time for him to retire. There's nothing left for him to prove, and he just looked out of sorts yesterday. And, he's going to go down as one of the all-time greats, but there's nothing left for him to do, and, let him now just move on. And
maybe he can go to Tampa Bay. Oh, wait, somebody's already there.
And now for the games next week, I'll do an early prediction, and I think that Tom Brady's going to pull the upset of Green Bay.
Okay. All right, not out of the realm.
And Buffalo, with or without Mahomes, will take out KC.
With or without Mahomes. Interesting.
And I got to give Andy Reid credit to pull the play he did like that. Then to throw it with 4 seconds left from the clock with Chad Henne. That was one of the gutsiest calls I've seen him make. I didn't even know he had it in him.
Well, I knew he had it in it. I just the fact that he pulled it off was insane. I totally agree with you on the gutsy call. All right, man. Good to hear you.
Thanks.
See, I think everything about it. I think the decisiveness, the preparedness, the confidence in your backup quarterback, and then the execution was amazing. All right, we'll get back to the phones, JJ, when we come back. You got something to look for today. Actually, Micah sent me this. I sent it to you, too. This is, when we come back, something really, really big to look forward today as we get through your day with a deadline looming. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And hot it. Sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavis. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh. Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Bars Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam on home.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake, double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, it's got some room. 50, 45, 40.
Deadline
Has one man to
Today is the deadline. Micah sent this to me for underclassmen to declare for the NFL draft. And JJ, as of this morning, Justin Fields of Ohio State had not declared. So I think that's something to look forward to. I think it was just like a foregone conclusion. We all thought, well, Justin Fields is going to be in the draft. I don't know that it's a foregone conclusion. I think we expect it today, but I don't know. Wouldn't we be surprised if he comes back for another year? I would.
The way we've talked about him the entire season, yes, but if you look at the overall year for Ohio State, while they got to the college football national championship game, it was far from seamless. It was, 8 games? Was it 7 or 8 games overall played for? Because they got in with 6, so 8 games played for Ohio State this season. A lot of questions coming off the national championship game, even with his performance against Clemson the weekend prior. I think if he comes back, he's still in the conversation to be a first-round pick. So ultimately, when we're saying, man, this guy could be the number 2 overall selection at one point in time, it would be shocking to see him pass up an opportunity like that. But as when you look at the whole picture, I kind of get it right now for Justin Fields.
Yeah. All right, so we'll watch that for you. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. Mike is producing on the radio side. J. Pole and Josh on the TV side. Hey, I'm going to get to this phones in a second. Did you see the video after the game? Tom Brady. So Drew Brees is out on the field. He's playing catch with his kids. Did you see this video? And he's throwing balls to his kids. And Tom Brady comes out with Brees. And they talk and they hug and they're having a conversation. And Brady throws a touchdown pass to one of Brees's kids. And just one of those moments, man. Just one of those really cool that you and I'll never understand. 2 legends, right? Two of the best that ever did it. Having a moment out on the field. And by the way, the pass Tommy threw was where only the receiver could have caught it, right above the kid who was defending. I thought that was a really, 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 really cool moment. That probably means a lot more to those guys than it'll ever mean to you and me. But one of those where it's just kind of whoever got that cell phone video and put it out, I thought kudos to you. Good move.
It was, if we were always wondering, what is going to be a lasting image? What is going to move on? Whether it's Ben Roethlisberger after that last game sitting on the bench by himself, just kind of looking around, or in this case, Drew Brees talking with Tom Brady. Did he know? Now, he said after the game, of course, he's going to take his time to think about it, but it felt like a final moment. Like there's some finality in the situation. He's out there just soaking it all in, playing catch with his kids, and Tom Brady comes over, having that conversation, and I'm sure Tom's going, "Oh, great job. Are you going to come back? How long are we going to do this?" And yeah, it was good to see. It was pretty funny though too when you see his two sons playing football, going back and forth, and then one of them tosses the football to Tom Brady, throws that pass, then his daughter's just doing cartwheels, like, what are we still doing here?
Yeah, hugs the wife.
Home.
Yeah. No, and he's like, we're not going to be allowed in here after this.
I know.
It's not our backyard anymore. All right, 505-246-0610. That's how to get in. Edward, thanks for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day.
Well, good day, gentlemen. Yeah, what time does Costco open today? Because this may indeed be a Costco triple layer cake kind of day,
Tommy on the line.
I called last week, and my son and I were rooting hard, obviously, for Tampa to win yesterday because I wanted Tom Brady to get that elusive 30-second playoff win. 30-second playoff win. And I think in his 18 years as a starter, and as an NFL starter, because he basically lost the 2008 season due to injury. He's been in the conference championship game 14 years.
14 times.
14 out of 18.
It's insanity.
It's interesting. I think the dream ends next week, though. Honestly, I'm with you, Jeff, and I'm not using reverse psychology, but Aaron Rodgers is amazing. I mean, he truly is amazing. And the way he's playing at his efficiency rate and ability to throw from every platform, I just don't think that Tampa's going to go up there and pull the upset. I've been hard on Drew Brees, but let me say this. The guy's a winner in life. I mean, he's loved his family. He's done such incredible things for the community. He's a Super Bowl champion. He holds all-time NFL records, and I'm a big fan of Drew Brees. And yes, I tongue-in-cheek said, I can guarantee you he's going to turn the ball over in the biggest moments, which he's done the last 4 years, and I think you illustrated that earlier. But I am a big fan of him, just like I was a big fan of Dan Fouts and Dan Marino and everybody that you listed earlier, just all-time greats. And what transpired yesterday, particularly in the Chiefs game, this goes to show you just how difficult it is to win in the NFL, which I puts even more emphasis and credence on what Tom Brady's done in his career, both with the Patriots and now with Tampa. The game could have gotten away from Kansas City yesterday with just a freak injury, which I think during the tackle, it was very evident to me that Mahomes was choked out. He lost his air supply, and he basically blacked out for a few seconds. I don't know if it was head impact on it once he hit the ground, but you can see clearly with the arm around the neck that he basically got choked out in the moment, and it caused him to kind of just waver when they stood him up. I think he'll be fine. Don't risk injury upon anybody. But the difficulty to have sustained excellence in the NFL, there's so many variables that can happen at any given time. And for them, to prevail yesterday, it's interesting, but it is exceedingly difficult to win in the NFL. And just to have that sustainable excellence is amazing. I think Buffalo has a chance this weekend going up to KC. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I just think as dynamic as Buffalo's quarterback is, there's about 2 to 3 plays a game where you just got to scratch your head and say, what are you doing? And I know he's young and he's growing and he's learning to read the defenses better, but there was just that pick six really sealed the deal this past weekend for them to beat Baltimore. And I just think it's going to be a fascinating game, but the Chiefs can be had. In the NFC, I think Green Bay is so efficient offensively. They have so many weapons. They run the ball well. I think the only chance Tampa has, which they ran the ball yesterday, is to go deep and try to expose the Packers secondary. but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And,
Yep.
you know, if Tom Brady some way, somehow gets to his 10th Super Bowl, guys, we're all fans. We all romanticize the past. We all have historical moments in our mind. He's lapped the field. He's completely lapped the field.
That's inarguable at this point. You don't
I mean,
have to, you don't
I
have
was
to plead
looking
your
at his
case
career wins, and I'm looking at it right now. The San Francisco 49ers, in their great history and their proud franchise, have 32 playoff victories.
Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboys have 35 all-time playoff victories.
Tommy's got
He
32.
may pass them next year.
Yeah, he may.
So, what are you going to do, right? Anyway,
that's good.
I appreciate you. Let me share that with you guys. And huge fan, and I thoroughly enjoyed the weekend. Have a great day, gentlemen.
You too. So a couple things. We got a couple of lines open if you want to get in at 505-246-0610. JJ, we're not going to get into Tommy the GOAT because it's not arguable. I've liked Tom Brady more over the last bunch of years than I did earlier. I mean, not an uncomfortable, unusual like Edwards got for him, but just the picture of Tom standing there with a genuine looking smile on his face, talking to Brees' kids. Like, he didn't have to go out on the field and go see Drew Brees after that. You know, they did the hug when the cameras were rolling. This was in a now empty Superdome. To go out and spend some time with Brees and his wife and kids, I thought was a human move. Now, there's going to be others who say he knew the cameras were there, whatever. It just feels so genuine and human to me. I've become more of a fan of the person in it over the years. I know your guy Ned hates him, calls him a cheater and all that. To me, there's a lot to like about Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating just looking at the Patriots era with Tom Brady, Bill Belichick's, the highs and the lows. But there's no one like Tom Brady. He's still out there, and we're not saying he's doing it in spite of this. Like, he's got enough. He can make the throws. And we saw the difference. You know, Drew Brees is trying. He's doing his best. But his body is not responding the same way Tom Brady's is. And it's unbelievable we're here again. And it's a position that we all assume, all right, you go to Tampa, but it's still so hard to do. And yet, here is Tom Brady right back in a conference championship game.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. We're going to the phones when we come back. We still got to get into Lobos. I know some of you don't want to. We're going to. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
If you're hiring,
What do you got?
Indeed.
Tommy and Jerome, is that what
Indeed
you're
delivers
calling?
quality.
Played over to Madrid. Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it.
They're really.
Oliveris. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh!
Big Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win. And he got it! It's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did.
Oh my God! Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in.
Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. It's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
Hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay,
I
just
got
get
you.
the measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up. Man's wide open. Ball is caught.
Ball Deer short, long rebound to UNLV with 2 seconds to go, and they can run out the remainder of the clock. Rebels will win it. 77-54 is the final. The Lobos fall to 0-7 in Mountain West play, and UNLV gets its first league win of the year.
A very enthused Robert Portnoy on the UNM Radio Network. Lobos lose 77-54, a 23-point loss on the road to the Rebels. They'll do it again tonight over on News Radio KKOP. Robert and Hunter will start out much more enthused than you heard right there. Hopefully, they will still be enthused by the end of the game. 7 losses in a row in league to start the season for UNM. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Josh, and J-Pole. Bill says, who does Fox want in the finals? What's a bigger ratings draw, Pat versus Tampa or Pat versus Aaron? Tommy, right? I mean, they're both good. There's no losing on the NFC side.
There's not. I think this is one of the situations where you absolutely love it either way. You get Aaron Rodgers, you get Tom Brady, or you either get Bills Mafia or Patrick Mahomes defending champs. This is about as good as a position you could be in when you're talking about the storylines going into not just championship weekend, but the Super Bowl.
And there's not a gigantic TV market there. There's no L.A., New York, even Houston, Philly, something like that. But you to your point, you've got all kinds of draws. All right, back to it. The other Tommy. There's Tommy, and then there's Tommy the Truth. Good morning, Tommy. How you living?
Hey guys, Tommy the Truth back at you. I did 3-1 on my picks. How did you guys?
4-0, 3-1, 3-1, I think.
Yeah, I picked the Saints. I hope Breeze will come back for one more year. Maybe that was Tommy kind of saying, hey, you should come back one more year. That would be cool. I was so proud to see how Cleveland fought against Kansas City. I don't think anybody expected that. That tells me Cleveland, if everything falls their way, could take over that division because Big Ben is not looking good. I don't know if he's going to come back next year or not. But I think Breeze has more talent and more ability right now to come back than Ben. Ben just doesn't look good right now. He looked good this year. I think for the championship games, I know Tom Brady can play in the cold. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the other Sunshine Boys, if they can play in that cold. And Green Bay plays so well at home. And then as far as Buffalo can beat Kansas City. I want to see if Mahomes, how serious, if that is a concussion, if he's going to be under protocol, how serious that was. But Kansas City can be had. They're not looking as strong as they did last few years. But yeah, the playoffs are great this weekend. I really enjoyed the games. And as far as Ned saying Brady's a cheater, Tony Romo, I saw him in an interview one time saying that everybody does that to the ball. Deflates and they all have their little things. He got caught. And I saw Michael Irvin in an interview about taping a play that used to happen back in the day, in the 90s, but no one knew about it because social media. All that stuff, Ned would love to have a quarterback like that on any team he coached. I don't know why defense or offense he coached, to be that much of a winner on his team as Tom Brady. He would love that type of quarterback. He'd be insane. He is the GOAT. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but if he gets him to another Super Bowl, come on. That's crazy.
No, there's no argument
this year,
anymore.
just getting into the NFC Championship game, it shows that he's a winner. And then what he did with Breeze after the game, I mean, he's a winner. He's a good guy. I mean, he's done some odd things over the years, but I think he's just a winner, and you can't deny that
Totally
at
agree.
all.
Totally agree. All right, man. Good to hear you.
Good to hear you guys too. Bye.
Be well. So, I do believe that the Bills have a chance. I do. I'm not going to make a call yet.
It's not even a chance. This is a great game. Even with a healthy Patrick Mahomes, this is a great game. So this is not to the level of Cleveland versus Kansas City, where I'm all in on the Browns, but I'm also all in on how devastating that second half was, because that was a huge swing and a miss. 22 minutes without Patrick Mahomes, and you can't find a way to get it done. All the credit to Kansas City's defense, but yeah, that one's going to sting for a while if you're Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't even need to wait. Like I'll say the Bills go in there and rip that from Kansas City. You know, Patrick Mahomes not being 100% is a problem, whether it's the foot, the toe, or now dealing with a smashed neck and potential concussion. It's advantage Buffalo right now.
Yeah, and I'm going to wait and see what the status of the quarterback is. I am before I make a call on that. But yeah, I can see. I love Buffalo. I love the way they play defense, and I love the swagger. And their young quarterback now is a stallion, and I love the way he's playing. On the Brady thing, look, there's no conversation. I think even your guy Ned, right, says Brady's the best ever. Does he not?
Francisco on the line.
Yeah.
And it's his
like
joke,
him.
it's his shtick. He likes to poke fun at the Patriots. He's been someone in that league that's been beat by them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he might hold a little bit of a grudge, but it's his running joke. And he doesn't deny how good New England or Tom Brady is.
I think that's right. Francisco, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. How are you, Francisco?
I'm good, man. I'm good, guys. Last week I called. I talked about Lamar and I talked about Josh Allen. And Josh Allen is I would say the second best quarterback in the AFC. Lamar, I like him. He's a good quarterback, but he's not a pocket passer and he's not accurate. And you have to be. I don't care how good of a runner you are. Eventually, it'll catch up to you. You can be a quarterback that runs, but if you're a running back that throws, no. And that's what kind of he is. He's kind of a running back that throws now. And, you know, I mean, he can win a lot of games for you, but, you know, Super Bowls, at this point, I don't think so. But he can progress. He can.
Yeah, he can progress.
As far as Tom Brady, I mean, it's not really surprising if you think about how the league is built. It's a passing league, and it's an offensive league, and this guy's good. I mean, he joined a really talented team. Look at his offensive weapons. Real. And then, well, if you look at that game last night, those turnovers killed the Saints, man. The Saints had all the momentum in the world. They were going, and turnovers, interceptions, fumbles. I mean, that kid, that tight end, if he doesn't fumble there and they go on to score, it's probably a different game. We're talking about Drew Brees' last year going to an NFC Championship game, but that's not how it works. You turn the ball over 3 times, you ain't going to win. And as far as Kansas City and Buffalo, and of course KC is my team, if Patrick Mahomes is 80%, we win that game. I mean, I like Josh Allen. He's a good quarterback. But you just take the Chiefs offense against the Bills defense. The Chiefs are rolling in that game. They were rolling in that game. People forget we missed a field goal and an extra point. And if Mahomes doesn't get hurt, we probably end up 30 to, you know, maybe 17, 18. There's just no – these guys can't stop that offense. I mean, not that defense. Not the Buffalo defense. But they have a really good team. They're up and coming, man. They're up and coming. And I like Josh Allen. There's only a few plays that him, Aaron Rodgers, and Mahomes can make. I mean, he's one of that type. He has that type of arm talent. He's a smart kid, a good kid.
All right.
I like him.
No, that's good stuff, Francisco. Thanks. So he's
Thanks,
a Chiefs fan. No, thanks. My favorite line in there. And, you know, Tom Brady, that guy's good.
Pretty good.
That guy's good. Do you think Josh Allen's the second best quarterback in the AFC? He's after Mahomes. He's better than Deshaun Watson. Maybe. I
think this season, yes. There's,
this season,
of course,
yes.
an element of team success. I think
1 minute.
Deshaun Watson is a little more refined, but this year, Josh Allen has been Pat Mahomes light.
Yeah, Josh Allen's been terrific. This year, yes. It's interesting. Who would you take going forward? And I'm honestly, with all the Josh Allen or all the Deshaun Watson love, I would consider Josh Allen. Like, if you guys, who do you want to start your franchise right now? You want Josh Allen or Deshaun Watson?
Watson.
I know it sounds easy. I'm not sure I'm there yet. I mean, Watson's terrific. So is Josh Allen. It's the opening drive. We'll talk Lobos when we come back on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles, look out! Chavez up the sideline, stays in bounds, touchdown! Volcanovic!
That replay,
I
just
got
get
you.
the measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
Throw it. Okay, here comes the rush. Step it up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up, man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
There's obviously a lot of emotions in many different ways right now, and I think we all need some time to probably collect our thoughts and have a mature conversation a little later tonight. I've had some post-game talks that maybe weren't the most pleasant, and I don't know if right now is the time to duplicate that. I think we all need to just kind of think about what we want to get out of this season and how we're going to finish this off. And it's probably a team conversation. It's a group conversation. It's not just going to be me deciding that we're going to start playing freshmen or me deciding that we're going to go a certain route. I think we have to collectively buy into something that we're going to try and get out of this season that we can at least hang our hat on.
Paul Weir, Level basketball coach, after a 77-54 loss at UNLV on Saturday. UNLV came into that game winless in conference play. They had beaten St. Catherine's earlier in the week to get off the schneid, just to kind of get things back. That didn't look like a winless team. Now, granted, they went on the road. They played Colorado State tough. They lost by 3 twice in Fort Collins and played well. JJ, kind of the same stuff we heard after the loss, the Utah State loss last week, where, do we play younger players? This thing has a horrible feel to it. And I understand everything in regards to being on the road, what that must mean, the lack of practice, the all of it. But at some point, and I'm not even going to pretend, okay? I'm not going to pretend to get into guys' heads. When you add losing, and then you add losing by an average of 25.1 points per game, like just getting pumped every night. I'm not going to pretend to get into these guys' heads because I don't know them. But I'm going to imagine everything that's going on with the virus, with the travel, with the uncertainty, and getting pummeled every night has got to be really, really taxing.
Absolutely. And you can keep going, you can keep grinding, but then it's, what kind of energy, what kind of effort you can get out of the team. In the first half, they started out bad. It was 22-7. They turned the ball over 3 of their first 4 possessions, but they snuck in a 10-0 run. And while they were still down by double digits, you looked at a team and said, at least, they're trying still. They're grinding. But there's so many holes in this roster that the young guys aren't going to be able to overcome it this season. Like, there's still going to be many moments like we've seen so far in Mountain West play. And yeah, they've played the toughest Mountain West schedule to this point in time. But there's no way to spin losing by 25 points. And you mentioned
to a
UNLV
team who was 0-6.
UNLV has only played 2 Mountain West games.
Or 0-2. Okay, all right, 0-2. Yeah, you're.
And they lost each by 3 points.
Yeah.
So it's not Yeah, they're winless, not
But
quite the same winless.
Not the
as
same
Lobos.
winless. Yeah, fair enough.
So,
Fair enough.
and you saw once again the inexperience inside. Zhang has 20 points. It's an upperclassman that's confident, solid in his game, and the Lobos. It's like, where do you want to start with the issues? The young front court is not good on both ends of the floor. Backcourt, you're just running true freshmen out there trying to get something, and it's more of the same.
Omar said, does McQuatch Malwatch equal Hugh Greenwood? He calls him Ryan Kirsten. Jeff, remember in Neal's second year, he was forced to turn the keys over to Greenwood. We saw how limited he really was with all the other pieces around him to make him, without all the other pieces around him to make him a star. We're seeing the same thing with McQuatch. His numbers are good, but he's not a superstar caliber, which is what Lobo basketball needs. I think that's a fair comparison. I've said this many times. McQuatch is a good player. He is what he is. He's not your he's not your centerpiece. And they're relying on him to be a centerpiece to go out and take over games. That's, to me, not.
And it's not a negative, by the way.
That's right.
This guy's a 1,000-point scorer.
That's right.
In his career, he is everything you want out of a student athlete.
Yeah.
And so I'm not even going to put him in that regard, because it was everyone else that just assumed, oh, well, he's a senior coming back, then he should be scoring 20 points per game. No, he's an effective, solid player that should be like the glue, the core of something else. But unfortunately, there is nothing else around McQuatch Malawatch.
Yeah, it's not a negative. He's a terrific Lobo. He's a terrific player. He's not. You know, I remember. So was it a Richie McKay team that really struggled? But they had Reuben Douglas, right? And so you had one guy who could kind of take over a game and go for 35, and they'd win a few here but lose a lot. This team doesn't have that. And when you say they're struggling here, they're struggling there, and you're right. I just look at them and I'm like, you're dying for something to grasp onto. You're dying for that positive. You're dying. Oh, look at Isaiah Marion. Like, what was it, 2 nights ago, or the Utah State game? Oh, look, the freshman had 7 points in 15 minutes, and everybody. Oh, come on now. Like I think that's where Lobo fan is just so disconnected now. I don't know that the Lobo fan sees promise. I don't know. JJ, I asked you this a couple games ago. Are they just missing shots, or are they just not good shooters? And I don't think they're good shooters. I just don't think there's a shooter here. Are they just having rough games, or are they just not very good? And I think Lobo fans starting to lean towards the latter. Are they just not very good?
I think when you lose by 25 points per
every
game, you're
night.
not very good. You're not. And I've tried so many different ways to look at this, understanding, all right, it's a young team, but what would you do? Like, if they said, Jeff, you get to coach this team tonight. Like, how do you get them in a competitive position with the offense that struggles so much? You're not going inside. There's not a guy you're feeding the ball to there either, and you're getting constant looks. It's how do you get them going downhill when there's no threat of the outside shot? So you can pretty much just pack it in and take away the driving lanes, take away any post touches against this team. And then, you can be really good defensively and try all your might. But if you're still just shooting like 30% a game, not hitting threes, teams are going to pull away from you and run away from you like we've seen.
Which, by the way, they're not very good defensively.
Daniel on the line.
Especially in transition defense. They're not. And so I don't have the answer, because I don't know how to score with that team. Like, I don't know where you could, you've had different situations where you can say you've got to get this guy shots, or you've got to get that guy to the lane, or you've got to get him touches. I don't know who that is. I would like to believe I'd like to get Byron Matos touches, but I don't know that I think he's that skilled offensively. So your point is absolute. Where I just don't know where I would go, JJ. I don't know if you told me to take over that team today. I don't know where I would go for offense, let alone the defense. The defense has got to be effort, and they're getting destroyed defensively. But I don't know the answer. Daniel, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Daniel.
Good morning. I haven't caught all the show, but I just wanted to touch on the Lobos. So I don't know if you have a shooter. If you're running elementary top of the key weave sets, I don't even know if you have the best shooter in the country. How he's going to get a shot off with that offense they run? It's ridiculous.
So you think it's the offensive philosophy?
Yeah, it's
pretty
elementary
stagnant
at best.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks.
JJ, I'm struggling determining if that's it because there's nothing dynamic. There's nobody to create, right? I want to see Saquon Singleton take over. I want to see what Jeremiah Francis can do. But to his point, you're not seeing anybody who can create and do something. So does it matter what offense you put them in? Is it because of the offense that they're running?
Well, it's going to be a talking point. I had someone point that out to me over the weekend. He's like, is this basketball or football? Like, what is it with just the handoffs and kind of that similar point we just heard on the perimeter, not getting guys into space? I don't think they have the shooters, regardless of if they get an open shot or not at this point in time. And if you're Jeremiah Francis, man, you just need to like accidentally hit 2 shots. Like anything, just a half-court shot, like something, because that dude is in such a rut right now because he can't be this bad. Like Francis just cannot be this bad. But unfortunately, like everything the Lobos are trying, they're getting the worst possible result from it. And I think Jeff Grammer pointed this out the other night. The Lobos starting point guards. So whether it's been Francis, whether it's been Marin, I think they're like the starters the last, I forget the number of games. I don't know if you have it. 1 for 31?
1 for 31. Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever you're trying, like the exact opposite is happening. All right, it's like, oh, we're getting Francis this game. We're getting nothing from him. All right, we're going Marin. All right, we're getting nothing from him.
Yeah, 1 for 31. I mean, it's almost impossible. It's like a guy who loses, 30 bets in a row. It's impossible. It's impossible to pick the wrong way. You figure something's got to go down. All right, we're going back to the phones when we get back. I got to take this break because we're late. 505-24. Not that you care, but my point is if you're there, hold. 2 lines open at 246-0610, 888-922-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, J. Paul, and Josh on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out! See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. All day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wildcat! Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Kowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown, Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a
High towards the end zone. It's grabs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off. Romero, a 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
Near corner, Hurst. The ball is moving fast, finds Anderson, wide open 3. Anderson cannot connect. There's Tate Duff. No hesitation. She got the offensive rebound, put it right back up. Good. 35-19. Lobos over the Lady Rebels.
JJ Buck, UNM Radio Network. Lady Lobos 81-73 bounced back from their first conference loss of the season to beat the Rebels yesterday in Las Vegas. It was 29 from Antonia Anderson, and Jaden De La Cerda had 28. Those two were terrific yesterday.
AT career high in the first half alone. 25 points, only 4 points in the second half. It's because Jalen De La Cerda decided to join the party in the third quarter. A tremendous performance, big bounce back. You know, what we saw Friday is they went cold, and then they started getting pushed around, got beat up inside, responded in a big way on both ends of the floor.
All right, 505-246-0610. That's where you are lined up. We got line open for you right now. Wayne, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Wayne.
Hello, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I've been listening with great interest to your reporting and your opinions today because I've been a season ticket holder for since going back to the Ellenberger era, and I do have to say that it saddens me to make my comment, and I'm going to lay it out as quickly as I can. There's just a lot of evidence since Alfred has left the team that we've kind of been on a fast trajectory towards bottoming out, a lot of free fall. I think that the jury is kind of in on the current men's Lobos basketball trouble. Unfortunately, Coach Weir has never built a core that goes from year to year. There's been a lot of player rotation, and there are, you know, the potential stars that he's brought in have proven to be at times troublemakers. So, you know, I think that we should consider leaving the Mountain West Conference. I'm tired of being the least fish in a bigger pond like the Mountain West. I think that we need to step back and admit that we need to rebuild in a lesser conference. And I don't know exactly what conference that would be, what the options are, but I think that if we play teams like Eastern New Mexico University and similar teams, we are going to get more winning records, build confidence, and then maybe make a run to go back into, you know, something like the Mountain West down the road. You know, I think that we would fill the stadium. We would build some excitement. If we, you know, we are the only game in town, the New Mexico men's Lobo team, as far as, you know, that market of fans like myself and others. And so I was wondering your opinions on what, if it's possible to leave the Mountain West, what would be the potential pros and cons? and your opinion on if I make a valid point or if I have taken this evidence and gone down a weird rabbit hole that's goofy.
All right, Wade. No, thank you. So the front of your phone call, I think there's a lot of validity to it, and a lot of people are there. As far as leaving the Mountain West, I see zero positive. First of all, it's not like you get relegated and you come back. You leave the Mountain West. What makes you think they're going to want you back? To me, and JJ, maybe you feel differently. To play Eastern and Highlands and Adams State, and you're not packing the pit. You're not going from, we used to play Arizona and Utah, and now because we can beat Adams State and Fort Lewis, we're packing the pit. No, the answer is get better. You've proven you can compete at this league. You've proven over the years that you've been very, very competitive with these peer institutions. The answer is not quit and go backwards. The answer is figure out how to get back. You've got the resources, and you've just got to get better. You're at a down point, but to me, there is zero positives of leaving the Mountain West.
The answer, Wayne, is you indeed went down a goofy rabbit hole at the very end of your call. Very sensible opinions in the first half. Understandable breaking it down. Rebuilding does not mean moving to a different conference, because then you're not rebuilding, you're building something else at a lesser level and to a lesser extent. So I will not explain it as in depth as Jeff's saying. Yes, you did go down the goofy rabbit hole.
Yeah, there's no benefit, none, because at that point you're just saying we're done. And let's go to the RMAC, to the Lone Star. What? No, just get better, figure it out. You've proven that you can compete at this level. The answer isn't we can't do it. Let's go back and cut our resources, and we're going to pack the pit because here comes Western Arizona or Texas A&M Corpus Christi, or well, that's not even right. West Texas A&M or something. So, Lance, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, Lance.
I'm in my goofy rabbit hole. I'm all over the place usually, but this ain't going to even be the call I was going to call in about. But, we got a TV contract. I mean, you could turn on the TV and see the Lobos, on cable. It's about money. At least that's something for the Lobos, but they look terrible. I mean, they're running around out there and just instead of hustling over, they're just jogging over to some guy to guard him. I mean, and that is coaching. I'm sorry to say, I love Weir. He's a good person. But, you need to get the knuckles out, dude. And but anyway, I'm watching a Nicolas Cage World War II movie that's made in the Four Corners, so it's pretty hilarious right now. But anyway, we were talking earlier about Bieniemy, and I played with him at Colorado, and it's about toughness. Notice how tough Kansas City is? I mean, when it comes push to shove, they're all over you. And, and that's how Colorado played back before JJ was even a dirty thought, and that's how it was. I mean, it just 4 or 6 yards at a time, he'd just stick his head in there and go right up the gut, and so I think that's the whole thing, a culture change of the team that you put him on. And he's going to change immediately, I'll trade you if you're going to play like that. Unlike the Lobo men's basketball team. You got to be tough to play sports. You just can't be some pushover, come in there, whatever, I'm in Lubbock or whatever. No, get in there and put your nose to the grindstone. And that's what, Bieniemy did on our football team, and we won a national championship. So I never like to lay that out on the line. I didn't want people to really know, but that's the toughest dude I ever played with.
Right.
And
he was bad, man. He was a bad little player. He was
mean and tough. But the thing is McCarthy was our coach, and he took people, got him out of prison to play with. This is what happened. I lost my scholarships. All of us did for a little bit. And he got people that were in trouble. He's the head of like a men's Christian union. It would fill up 100,000 people in his stadium to hear him speak. You know, and everybody that was on that football team went through the thing about you got to believe in God and you got to believe in yourself and you got to believe in treating people right. But God has it in you to go kick some butt at the end of the day. You know, you're fighting for the right, you know, and so Eric Bieniemy is number one on my list for any football team. And God bless him. I'm going to go back to my Nicolas Cage movie, and Edward just too much sometimes. 6 days in a row, Reverend Edward. I mean, oh my God.
You were just
but
saying
anyway, I love you guys, and
love
have
you
a good day.
So enjoy. The movie was shot. Where was it shot? New Mexico, at Four Corners. All right, next, Rudy. Good morning, Rudy. Who'd you tell me? By the way, whisper to my ear again. Tell me who's next. Hello, Rudy.
Good morning,
Mike.
You know, there's so many things you can start talking about Lobo basketball, but one thing I think is kind of irresponsible is you don't get to step away from your conference and try to regroup. You just learn to play better. And the biggest problem with this team is they just don't have anybody out there that gets them together because they don't have any leadership, because all those guys that were leaders are gone. And so you gotta find it, and it's a torturous process, and it's being played out right in front of our eyes. And right now these kids are mistaking, activity for accomplishment. You ever heard that phrase, Jeff, JJ?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's what they're doing. They mistake activity for accomplishment. They go leap at a guy on a head fake instead of staying on your feet. And yeah, maybe it is coaching, or maybe it's the players not listening to the coaches, because I know these coaches, and that's not how they're coaching these kids. You know that. So wherever the disconnect is, they need to reconnect it, and they need to just keep marching forward. And, if this year doesn't pan out the way we wanted it to, that's sports, and that's the breaks. I don't like losing by double digits. Don't like it at all. But you have to accept it, too. I mean, look at the Jets fans this year. They found a little light at the end of the tunnel, but who knows what's going to happen. I just pray for the team, and I pray for a turnaround. Meanwhile, the girls showed that they can turn it around. And I don't know what happened to the game before, except Karina just started shooting too much, I thought, JJ, and I thought that got them out of their offense, and once they did, they never got back in it. So it was a much better effort Sunday.
All right, Rudy, good to hear you. JJ, what do you think of his assessment on that? Is that what happened?
Well, I wouldn't just put it all on Karina Carter on Friday. The team absolutely went cold, and then they got stagnant. Pace left their offense, and then UNLV started to take over inside. UNLV didn't have the size advantage, and it started missing shots coming back down the other end, getting beat up inside, and you were outscored the second, third, and fourth quarter on Friday. Now, yesterday, Tony Anderson was absolutely phenomenal. It's simple as that. Took over the game, 25 points in the first half, but the pace stayed. Yeah, it was just two players that scored for the Lobos, but they kept the pace, and energy defensively was really good. It's really surprising. Yeah, they're a little bit smaller than UNLV, so they doubled the post. They fronted them. Shai Magruder uses her athleticism, 6 foot forward. She's battling the 6'3" forward, Byrne or Wilfred inside, and she uses that quickness to get around in front, block some shots, steals. Good performance.
All right, here's what I learned in this segment. Not anything about level ones, but that Lance has a national championship ring playing at Colorado with Eric Bieniemy. I did not know that. Did you know that?
No.
All right. Back to the phones when we get back, 505-246-0610. I got a bunch of emails, a lot of opinion to get to you as well. I want to tell you about IPS, International Protective Service. I know you see their vehicles around town. They're everywhere. They protect my home. They protect businesses and homes all around town. I suggest you give them a call. You know you need it. Sometimes you don't think you want to pay for it, and then a bad guy breaks in and you realize you should have been prepared. Don't wait too long. Call IPS. Last year was rough. This year can be better if you make some adjustments. Let IPS protect your home. Let them protect your business. With on-site guards, 24-hour patrols, they stop crime before it happens. If your alarm goes off, they respond within 5 to 7 minutes with trained armed security officers. Call IPS, protect what's important to you. They are proven. They catch the bad guys, and they work. And that's why you see so many of their vehicles around town. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. You go to IPSglobal.com.
Mahomes with the snap. Floats it toward the back of the...
To create space, he gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Gonna be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go, they've got a shot, they have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good! What a three that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Lamina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Davina Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Out the lob, tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
Let's get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
All right, you get the Chiefs and the Bills in Kansas City next Sunday, and then the Buccaneers and the Packers in beautiful Green Bay. Tampa Bay, Green Bay for the right to go to Tampa Bay. And that's not being talked about very much either. 505-246-0610. Let's go back to it. Mike, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Thanks for holding. Mike, how you living?
Good. How you doing?
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey, I think one of the problems is recruiting. I mean, get a player like LeBron James, Steph Curry. 2 people make a difference. 2 good people. NCAA, baby, like the old Lobos. Get back in it. There's a lot of fans that they're legends. They love to watch the Lobos. And, man, 6 games in a row, I mean, 6 Mountain West games, that's not good. Yeah, but I think
7.
They need to recruit some good players, and we're back in it. Thank you. I'm out of here.
Thank you, Mike. Well, there it is. There's your easy solution. Now, you had some pretty good players last year. Carlton Bragg, J.J. Caldwell, supposedly Jaquan Lyle. They were up for good recruits, but you couldn't keep them eligible, active on the floor because of what they did off the floor. So how do you do it? Well, Jeff, how's San Diego State doing it? How the hell did Colorado State find what they found and put what they're doing together? How are they doing it at Boise State? This is why, the answer isn't drop down to the RMAC and play Eastern. And I know Eastern's not in the RMAC, but figure it out. Yeah, it's recruiting. And I think, JJ, that's one thing that I haven't heard around here in a long time. And my buddies, and I'm watching it on, I'm getting my texts blow up. My phone blows up every time they play, and I know yours does too. And watching the social media, it's the first time really, really questioning the construction of this team. You know what I mean? For the first time in a while, who are these guys? How did they recruit this group? And did they not know what they were doing? Now, when you look at it on paper, well, you got some big guys, and you got, these guys are accomplished. But I like his point sounds so simple, but there's something to it.
And you can go down all the ways that we have before to talk about why the roster ended up in this predicament. But these are the players that you offered, you chose to be Lobos. Now, what are you going to do with them? And unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that just need to keep grinding and get experience because they're nowhere near the finished product. And whether it's Byron Matos, who everyone is excited about, he needs post touches. He needs a lot of work. It's footwork. It's touching around the rim. Look at Valdir. He's a guy that, all right, you like the frame, but then you pretty much have to build a basketball player. So, yeah, we can run down the list, and we can get to why this team is constructed the way it is in terms of the roster turnover, players that left, whether it was eligibility or thinking maybe at some point in time last year you thought at least J.J. Caldwell, Van Jackson would be a part of this roster. Then that all went south. Then you had to change this offseason. Comes back to they're just not good right now, and it's hard to see this season them taking a big step in any direction going forward.
All right. Little breaking news. Justin Fields did this morning declare himself eligible for the NFL draft. So the Ohio State quarterback is now the former Ohio State quarterback, and he is in the draft. And let me get you a few emails. Omar's in on football. He said, the best news about the playoffs so far, Jeff, none of these clubs has blown my socks off. I don't see anyone the Dallas Cowboys shouldn't be able to compete with in 2021. Man, it'd be good to have star-shaped glasses, wouldn't it? Like just to love your team so much that you're what did they win? 4 games, 5 games, 6 games? And, we're just a play away. I love it. I love it. Richard says, I was at Johnson Field Saturday, Jeff, and I saw a group of non-socially distanced cheerleaders practicing. At first, I thought it was the Lobo cheerleaders trying to get in sync so they could head to beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada to provide desperately needed support to a struggling squad. But as I got closer, I saw it was a private club. How are they allowed to practice on our court when the squads that are home there aren't? I don't know, man. Why don't you call the cheerleader authorities? This is where, look, how are some groups practicing? I don't know. I mean, this is like practicing. By the way, I love the trend on social media with the state flag and let them play. The hashtag let them play. I don't know how much you've seen of it. I've seen a ton of it. Just let them play. There's such a push for bringing the Lobos back, for letting the high schools play. I don't know that I think it's going to happen, but there's a huge push, and I love that there's a local grassroots push on this. Ken says, how precise was this, Jeff? OD callers are business class. Not first class, business class. Who said a win over Whistling Dixie was going to have zero impact in helping Lobo basketball when they ran up against a real team? Was it Sean? I think it was everyone. With all due respect, Ken, I don't think anybody got overexcited. Not your hosts, not your callers, not your players. I don't think anybody thought that it was going to have any difference at all when they played a Mountain West team.
Marty on the line.
Yeah, it was hey, these guys just need some confidence. But in regards to what it means this weekend, not much.
None. Mike says, is Hunter the most frustrated color guy in America, Jeff Alou? It sounds like it's taking all his restraint to not leave that broadcast booth and get on the field and start coaching Lobo basketball himself. I'm going to tell you, both you haven't done it very long. But when you cover a team that gets pumped every week, it's hard. Like, remember when I was doing Aggie Vision and they were losing every week? I was going down there and I would do 6-7 games a year. And they were getting pumped 52-3 every night. Like, when they were within 20, it was a big deal. Yeah, it's hard. When your team, no, I mean, I remember
and that's
when Charlie.
and it's another Aggie
First down. Yeah, I remember Charlie Johnson quitting on me in the middle of the game. God bless him. I love that dude, but he's like, yeah. He's like, we took out the headset, and he's like, I'm so effing pissed. I didn't see this coming, right? I mean, I feel for Robin Hunter. Like, it's not fun to do the home team broadcast when not only when you're losing every week, they're getting beat by 25 points a night. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, you're going down that bio list late in that second half for sure and going, yeah, and this guy, junior in high school, lettered in track and field and was a standout runner in the 100-meter hurdles.
JJ, I was watching the CBS, was it CBS? Avery Johnson and whoever was doing the game, was right? They weren't even calling the game in the second half. They were just telling stories about programs, and they were like, they weren't calling the basketball game.
Like, so Avery, tell me about your NBA career.
And he was. And when I go and talk to teams and I tell them about my time as a coach, and they weren't calling the game for the last 17 minutes. It was that bad. So yeah, it's hard. All right, we're going to the phones. We get back. I got 2 lines open. So does JJ, by the way. We have 2 lines open at 505-246-0610. Get through as many emails as I can as well on the opening drive on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM at AM 610. The Sports Animal. Not even sure what that was.
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Could have said that anything better. He answered the question.
On
Got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we could see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Hill, the
Brito driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Here's Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes a.
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop through the.
Play with the gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a.
Hill, little step, high window, and a.
Got the second.
To the middle. Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis goes in. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins, window, finishes.
There's a run coming from
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime.
Why did we ram it, Jeff? That performance didn't deserve a Jeff it. Well, Micah did it. I did. That's on Micah. You're
Salute
right.
to our fallen heroes.
It was just in memoriam or memoriam. How do you pronounce that word? Memoriam.
It was a good job, good effort. Ram it for the season. I was not as down on their performance as, say, a Rams fan would be. They showed me more than expected. I didn't think they'd score more than 10 points in the game.
Yeah, that's good. They scored 18. Marty, thanks for holding. Good morning. You are on the Quans Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen, and today we honor MLK also.
Yes, we do.
The thing with Paul Weir, he gets enamored with foreign players. So, where's Clay Patterson, Jordan Arroyo,
They're on the
Vladimir
bench.
Pinchuk? Where are those three guys?
Vladimir Pinchuk's gone. Patterson and Arroyo are on your bench.
They're not playing?
No, I mean, they're getting a minute here or there, right, JJ? I mean, but no. Do you feel all right, but you feel they're the answer?
And then Portnoy, I get confused sometimes listening to him on the radio. Explain to me, what are 4 dimes, Malawatch at the elbow, mid-court, half-court, air, rebound, rim, rebound? I wish JJ would do the play-by-play. How short of a leash does Paul Weir have? And I'm going to say Hunter Green for new men's basketball.
Ooh, all right. Thanks,
Yeah.
Marty. How short of a leash? Look, I mean, JJ, if they like, I don't know what Eddie can do. I don't know what you want him to do. I don't know what people want him to do. I know what some people want him to do. I don't know how, if there's well, I do know there's a buyout, and I know what it is. But if they improve, there's 13 league games left to go. Like if they go, if they go 4-16 in league, they go 3-17. Do you make a move? And I'm asking you rhetorically. I know we'll get into this at another time, but that's kind of where Marty is. I don't know. I think Eddie's going to have to evaluate not only the wins and losses, but what's going on with the program, and he's also going to have to take into account that they're playing the entire season on the road with a new team. But at some point, they're not a new team anymore. You want to see progress, right? At some point, you have to see progress. So if they close better, they start getting better, and they start winning some games, do you take that into consideration?
It's, of course, what do you do after the season? Is you have those discussions. You look at where we are as a program. What is our direction as an athletic department? Because you have to. It's not the main reason, but you also have to look at what that entire team is dealing with on the road. And it's on the women's side. We already saw one San Jose State program which is doing the exact same thing that the Lobos and Aggies are doing, which is living on the road, being in Phoenix, and they opted out of the rest of their season. So there's even more challenges on top of everything else trying to get a young team to somehow, some way learn to play basketball.
Meanwhile, in the Aggies, men's and women's pause this week. More COVID. Fred, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Fred.
How's it going? Hey, I just want to give credit to the Lady Lobos. I mean, we've only had one loss. I kind of credit that first loss on the disparity of the fouls. 23 fouls to 7. It just seemed like every minute they'd call a foul on either Magruder or Anderson. What did Anderson played? 11 minutes is all she played, and here she played 35 minutes. And I don't even remember a Lady Lobo team having two people scoring almost 30 points each, in a game. I can remember somebody scoring 40 and 15 or something, but to be, to have two girls, Anderson's hotter than heck and scoring 25 in the first half, Data Serta scoring 21 in the second half, and both finishing close to 30. I think that's, pretty amazing. And the one thing about this team is, like, Hurst was 0 for 9, but we still won the game. And the thing is, because Hurst does get assists, she had 5 assists, she had 4 steals. The girls do something else besides just scoring, too. So I just want to give credit to them and what they're going through. They're going through the same thing as the men are, and they're handling it really well. You can tell Bradbury, after the game, talking to JJ, you can hear he's just so upset in his voice about what's happening to these girls and what they're having to battle through. And you can tell it's taking a toll on him, too. And I'm glad they can rest this week. But one question, JJ, maybe you can find out soon. What are they going to do? Where are they going? Are we still waiting for the governor, or are we going to go back to Texas? Because they have to practice. I mean, I would say they wouldn't have to practice now, but they need a rest right now. But maybe find out where in the heck are they going, because nobody knows where the women are going to practice next. So, but anyway, I want to congratulate the Lady Lobos. They're in. There's only 2 teams with 1 loss. That's Boise State and us, and so we're in second place. So, congratulations on them. Okay, guys.
Thanks,
See you
man.
later.
Help them out.
It is a good question. I asked Mike after it, what's next? They're not going to actively look for a game. They were scheduled to play San Jose State next. They opted out of the season, so they're going to have some time off. It sounds like he wants to use a few days to just step away from it for everyone, try to catch their breath, get that energy back. And I don't know, they have West Texas A&M to practice at. That was kind of, their home base, but they've also, the last Mountain West series, have gone just a week earlier to wherever they're playing.
Well, and they played down the road because this was supposed to be a home series. The UNLV series, they played it there.
So nothing official yet, at least to my knowledge, but I think it could be one where they might do that a lot. Just go to wherever their road series is, kind of spend 4 or 5 days there, practice, play, and then figure out what's next.
Look, it's so imperfect, but his point's not lost on a lot of people. The women are doing the same thing the men are, and they're 6-1 or 7. What are they? 5-1? What's the number? 6-1?
They are 6-1.
6-1. They will not play this week. San Jose State has shut down the program for the rest of the year because of COVID, and that was who was on the schedule. So they are back in Albuquerque. Carl says, "Do you miss Craig Reed yet?" Jeff, when I heard Lobo fans over the weekend refer to the Craig Neal era as the good old days because they at least look like a D1 team, Lobo basketball is not in a good place. Yeah. Rod says, couldn't disagree with you more, Jefferson. Ruben Douglas gave the other team defensive coordinator nightmares when they played Lobo basketball, even though the club wasn't that great. You could double, triple team him, and that didn't matter. If he was on, he can go for 40. Does anyone on this roster scare you offensively? Isn't that my point?
That's what you said.
Yeah, I don't know what you disagree
There's
with.
not a Ruben Douglas.
Yeah, that was kind of my point.
I disagree. I don't know what you said, but I disagree with you, Jeff.
And then let me make your point for you. Yeah, that was kind of what I said. John said, well, guys, I'm going to ask one question. Why hasn't Dr. Weir addressed the lack of assists and implemented Princeton offense? Whoa. So he wants to blow everything up and change the offense. Outside shooting is bad, but yet seems to be a primary weapon. On Friday, one player kept the ball for a full 25 seconds and launched the three, missing it. Passing and cutting is simple. Setting picks and back cutting. Come on, it ain't rocket scientists, said John. So John wants to completely reset and change and go to the Princeton offense. Because, I mean, the way he feels, and he might not be wrong, by the way, you don't have the horses to play the offense that you want to play.
I'm here for all the suggestions.
Lobo Hobo replied to caller. He threw out a softball. Let me hit it out of the gym. There are 0 pros to going down a level. Eastern, Western, and Fort Lewis will further kill fan support in Wise Pies, of course. I mean, of course. Yeah, like as you said, yes, he went down some crazy rabbit hole. Yes, he asked you. You told him yes. Bad Street says Lancer is the OD answer. That's a pretty big rabbit hole for Lance to fit in. Yes. All right, and Terry's in on football. Helmet to helmet. Jeff is a Patriot fan. I can just imagine if it was one of them committing the blatant helmet to helmet penalty. That play, everyone would have screamed the Patriots get all the calls. To add insult to defeat for the Browns fans, a leading with the helmet was called in the first series against the Bucs defense. Look, that's a bang play with so much going on. Like to me, JJ, it was a missed call, but it wasn't like how on earth do you miss that call, right? This wasn't the Rams Saints pass interference call. This was they missed a call because the ball was fumbled through the end zone. Now, would he have called it if the ball wasn't fumbled? I'm not sure he would have. On a bang play at the goal line, a guy stretching for the goal line. But I just, like it's not egregious to me. Yeah, they missed a call. And if you're Browns fans, you're pissed. But I don't know. I mean, do you feel differently?
I don't. And also, before we get out of here, happy birthday to our quarterback, Ned James.
Oh, happy birthday to Ned James from Tom Brady.
His ears were tingling. I guess he realized people were talking about him and Tom Brady today. But
Tom Brady sending flowers. You don't bring me flowers. All right, we have a regular schedule today. Jim Rome shows next. Dan Patrick's after that. Sports Bar this afternoon at 3. Lobo men's basketball over on News Radio KKOB tonight, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning with more award-winning radio for you. Mike had terrific work. Jay Pole, Josh, even though I didn't know you were there, thanks for working on a holiday. Appreciate you. Go out and remember what the day's about. JJ, enjoy the day.
Have a day, y'all.
Isaiah Chavez, finger guns to all. Be good to each other. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
Played over to Madrid, plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot up by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's